Let's talk about some money, because people don't normally pay attention to this, right? But the NBA usually actually holds on to a percentage of each player's salary. They put it in escrow. Why? Well, the agreement between the NBA and the Players Union is that however much total revenue the league makes in a given year, the owners and players split it. It's about 50-50. Except when you do a guy's contract in advance, you don't know for sure what the revenue is going to be like every year of the next few years, right? So the league usually holds back about 10% of each guy's salary in escrow. And then at the end of the season, if the league made more money than expected and that 50-50 split is actually higher, players get the money back. If revenues fall short, some or all of that money goes back to the owners. That way they don't have to chase players down and be like, oh, actually, you owe me $20, right? So why is this a big deal now? Well, the contracts players have signed were not designed with coronavirus in mind, right? So no one had any idea we'd be going on to maybe a second season without ticket sale revenues. So if next season has to begin without fans, holding back 10%, not going to do it. That escrow number the league could put out, it could be as high as 40% of guys' salaries. Here's what that would look like. So we took three guys at like different salary levels, right? Steph Curry will be the highest paid player next season, $43 million. But in this scenario, they're taking away 40%. That is a $17 million haircut that he would be taking. A mid-range player like Spencer Dinwiddie drops from making $11.5 million to $6.8 million. And a second-round pick, like let's say Carson Edwards, would see his salary drop. He thought he was making $1.5 million. Instead, he'd be making about $900,000. Keep in mind, players still, after they get that money, they have to taxes, right? California,
both federal
they're
and
pretty high,
state,
right? Players who live in Florida, happier. Texas. You've also got agent percentages, things like that. And look, no one is crying for these guys, Paul. They're all making way more than the average American. That Steph Curry number is still very, very high. But it's still, if you're a player and you think you're making X million dollars, 40% is
rip
a
those
lot.
projections, call your financial advisor now and say, rip those projections up. But this really hurts the guys. You know, at the top, you can say, okay, Curry, he's making 43, 25. That's not so bad.
It's pretty good.
But the guys at the bottom are going to feel it the most. You see like a Carson Edwards who goes from 1.5 to 900. Then you cut the 900 in half the taxes. Then you get the agent fee. I mean, man.
Right?
That's what's that going to leave them with? It's really hurt the players at the bottom.
You know, and it doesn't just hurt them because they make less. Steph Curry, God bless him, he's made a lot of money past tense. This wasn't his first year of his deal.
Right.
He's got his Under Armour money. He's got his NBA contract money. LeBron, Kevin Durant, these guys are fine. We kind of talked about this, remember, when they were talking about should we restart the bubble, should we not restart the bubble? And it's not about the stars because they have the wherewithal to say, I don't need to play. I don't need my check.
Right.
But guys like Carson Edwards, guys like Javon Carter in Phoenix, guys like Gary Clark in Orlando, these guys haven't made generational wealth.
Right.
And so it's a hit in their pocket. The other thing I want to point out, everyone always says, oh, but the people who play in Florida and Texas, they don't have to worry about state income tax. Yes and no, because what a lot of states have done is if you play a game here, for instance, we're playing the Lakers tonight, we're getting taxed on that, even if I live in Florida or Texas, states with no state income tax.
The majority, they tax you per day, so it's a 365th percentage of your income, that kind of thing. And look, again, I want to make this clear. No one is crying for guys making $500,000 at all. It is still way, way better than the average American is their position they're in. I will just say, if you are a guy who thought you were making $1.5 million, and then after the escrow hit, it is going to be $900,000, and after the tax hit, as you say, Paul, it's going to be about $450,000, and then your agent takes a bite and all of that stuff. You thought you were making $1.5 million, and you're making around $350,000, $400,000. That is a substantive difference, and I don't know how much guys have planned for that. It is part of what all Americans are dealing with, obviously on a much more serious scale with coronavirus and the wave of unemployment we've had. And this is why there is so much back and forth right now between the owners and the players over when's the start date, because more money would come in if they started earlier, right? How many games are we going to play? Things like that, because the salaries are really being affected.
And really quick, that 40% isn't a number that they pulled from the sky. It's supposed to be representative of the loss of in-arena revenue, which the NBA estimates anywhere from 35 to 40% of all the BRI.
Right, exactly. And look, this is going to influence, I think, a lot of things as the players sit here, Paul, and decide when they really want to start. If you see some of this money, the dollar signs going out the door, it might affect you. It also might affect whether you decide to opt in or not opt in this season. Here are some notable players. Again, this is the salary they are supposed to get if they opt in, but take 40% off of that Gordon Hayward number, right? It's a little bit of a difference. Do you think that it will affect if guys opt in or not?
Well, I think you want to opt in because something's better than nothing.
Right.
I mean, especially with the days that we're in, teams are going to offer shorter contracts, less money. So it's best to opt in. But the other thing is what the NBA could do could wait. They could wait later in January, February to see if they can get fans back in the arenas, and it'll affect that number a little bit different. So I don't know, which direction that the league is heading in. I know there's been a lot of talks about starting in December, to fulfill TV contracts. But if you wait, you can get fans in there. I'm for it.
Well, certainly that is what a lot of the owners were pushing for over the past couple months. And when you see, again, 40%, we talk about the player salaries. We'll think about the owners and what's cutting into their budget of operations and all of that. That's 40% also. That was why there was such eagerness to you know what, let's just push it off. Let's just wait till we can get fans in there. We want fans. It's better for our business model. And I kept saying, well, I want a pony. That's not happening either. and the truth is, if you wait for fans, Paul, we were look, did we think we'd be sitting 6 feet apart at the end of October when this thing first happened in March? No way. No. We thought all of this would be done way before that. So
the real thing I would say is also now it's about saving 21-22.
Right.
Right?
We had Malcolm Brogdon on the show yesterday.
Yep.
He talked about that a lot.
Right. It's about what this season coming up looks like, it's not going to look like what we want it to look like.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.